My name is Margaret Ann Windsor. I have to use the name Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. I married Childers. I was kidnapped in 41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, and given the name of a twin. Both twins, Carl and Peggy, were dead. They were born out of wedlock. Their mother, Lina Dempsey, had killed them, and the family covered it up. Excuse me. Now then, I wrote a book about medical malpractice, 1975 until April through the day of 80 when they almost killed me. I should have died, and I was illegally taken across the state line back to Huntsville, Alabama by Dempsey, and she tried to kill me again. I don't know who all was in on that one, April the 1st, but she was in on it too, April Fool's Day, because this has been a joke. And I'm leaving out part of what she did. I put it up on YouTube. That's where I worked for the district attorney in the condition I was in. I passed a background check. Sheriff Patterson's office. It was a requirement to work for the district attorney, Fred Simpson. And the next job I had was for Golden Triangle. Doyle Duke, as in the Duke of Windsor, was supposed to marry Wallace Simpson. So I didn't know. I was only told about my kidnapping in late '83 after I'd been flown out to Larry Flint's. I was in a political campaign to replace one of the doctors. I wrote about Larry McDonald, congressman whose plane was shot down by the Russians. Now then, I had been made a pauper, and when I left Mr. Flint's in '83 the last time, he was living in on St. Cloud in Bel Air. I went out there twice during the campaign in October '83. Last thing he said to me was, "There's no room in the inn," I-N-N. So he did lease me a car for a year, and a lot happened to Mr. Flynn. He ended up out at Butner and was tortured, and they tried to take his power of attorney away from him and all kinds of things. And then his wife died in May of, I think, '87. Anyway, Althea, that was very sad. Anyway, let me go to this. I am allergic to chemicals, and my immune system attacks itself if I'm around toxic fumes. And over the years, I've deliberately, I came here in '86 to Roanoke, and it was cold. It was October the 20th. I had no coat, no money, no nothing. The police had bought me a ticket here through the Salvation Army, I guess. But anyway, I got off at 3 in the morning, no place to go, a town I'd never been. The lady on the bus that came up with me was British, but I got off in Abington, and she's the British lady that told me my father was still alive, Edward VIII. So when I was born in '39, my father was 45. My mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, was 40. So my father never married Wallace Simpson. That's a lie. And the abdication was forced, and I was born in '39, kidnapped in '41. And by the way, the Kennedys were a part of that. Kennedy was the ambassador then, and Joe Kennedy, the older one, and Jeff Kay used to fly in there. Ironically, the years that 39, 40, and 41 is when I was kidnapped and brought to Cortland, Alabama, Moulton. So what I wanted to say here was Carl Barton's wife, he's a retired Virginia State Trooper, and she brought me down off the campground where I'd been assaulted with, I'm not even, well, yeah, I will too. It was gasoline was poured in the middle of the night on my tent, and that's not the first time that ever happened. And I had to sit up on the picnic table the rest of the night, and she brought me down to Corporate Suites off Starkey Road, and near Tanglewood Mall in Roanoke. And she told me they paid the security deposit. I had enough money for the rent, and I paid it for the next 17 months with them torturing me with chemicals, actually soaking the bed, the carpets, you name it. I mean, it was horrifying. I stayed sick. You can't take pictures. It didn't do me any good to ask them to stop. They just say they didn't do it. So that's what's gone on, and that's how they moved me. And I put up here about when I got a low income, I don't have any funds hardly, and when I put something together, I'm so sick and I have to move and try to find another place where it doesn't do any good. It's the same thing, but I lose what I've put together, so it's been a hell of a lot. And my immune system attacks itself, and the inflammation will cause so much kidney or lung or liver or vein, you name it, heart. But the thing I wanted to put up here was I didn't get this. I was taken there by an agent. I was taken to, actually the homeless assistance in Roanoke took me in Edinburgh, but the agent made them a little map to where they could get to me if they didn't know out in the National Forest where I was camped. I went there, the same thing happened at Edinburgh retirement, and that's low income in Edinburgh. You associate with the monarch or with Scotland. And I finally couldn't stay there. I was so sick. I left, and it's breaking a lease. They shouldn't be gotten for assault, conspiracy, and everything in the book. So I left, but anyway, I went to Richfield, the same thing, only the agent took me there. And the odd thing about this is you don't see what's really going on behind the scenes. And if I go back, because they should be arrested, they had no right to assault me with chemicals and all this and ruin me getting a home. They get mad at me. It's an odd thing in all of this. The family down there where I grew up in, that horrible family, they got mad at me for finding out about it, and then when I started putting it up on social media because I couldn't get an attorney. So it's odd how people will turn around and get mad at you when they're the ones who've committed the crime. But anyway, over in Bedford, I got one at Joseph Stream as a retirement. Same thing. I stayed there 7 months, so sick, the fumes and the stuff. And I mean, I could go into a whole book telling about that. The day I left and came back to Roanoke, they did a cleaning of the attic and everything up there where they had, and I'm not going to tell you who they really know put that up there, but it was the manager there. It's a joke to her, Jean, forgotten her last name. It's Hitty, no, Jean Cross was over at Affordable Corporate. Ellis, Brenda Ellis is over at, they should be at Green Joseph's Way in Bedford. They should be prosecuted instead of being allowed to live their job in retirement and be with their family and kids. The last one I got to, because these names are, well, let me put this. I tried to go to a new one owned by Reverend Moore that owned the one in Bedford. He had a new one in Christiansburg, and I tried 4 or 5 times, and I even put the letters up. And the woman's name is Scott. There's a point to the name Scott because the man control murders were done in patterns, and they were using my son's names in some of them. And she actually wrote me back and said I could quit asking to move in there. They didn't. It was brand new, by the way. She said it won't do you any good to go before the committee, or if I requested that it be reviewed or something, the decision. She said, we did a background check on you. So her name was Scott. She still had her job, and it was all illegal. Now then, I get this last one I went to was Scott Hill Retirement out in Clifton Forge. It's a small town, and a cute little town up against the mountains. It's so pretty to me. And again, they went out and got me some furniture because I'm kept penniless and I lose what few things I get. And on the surface, if you don't know what's really going on, it makes me just look like I'm running out there doing me favors and you little